my herbalist cousin, and we are going to talk about herbalism and how you can incorporate it into your life. So, Erica, tell them what's going on with your herbalism journey right now.
Right now, it's it's kind of a lifestyle actually. So, um, I think what inspired me to start working with plants and specifically herbs was because I had a sick parent growing up, and he had all of this faith in the doctors. And if you went to medical school, you know what you were talking about. I had to take this medication my whole life and all of this stuff. So um, he passed away 2 years ago now, and he was very, very sick. So like he was sick more of my life than he was well.
Yeah.
So he was a big influence on why I believe in the plant life journey, even as far as like houseplants go. So
Yeah.
um so I don't know, I don't know if the word herbalist would like describe, you know, the lifestyle, like working with plants as like, helpers of the body, but because it's not really recognized, but whatever you want to call it.
Well, to me, it's just regular living. Um,
Yeah.
we come from the same family, and they worked the ground. They worked the ground. They
Yeah.
had their gardens, and they ate out of their gardens, and we ate out of their gardens. And growing up, I
Hmm.
remember my grandfather having not only his own garden, but he had a garden in the house that we stayed in. Um, and he had fruit trees and everything. And I remember being a kid just out there with him, digging in the ground and dancing and looking at how he's pruning and tending to the plants. So that's something that I grew up with, and a lot of kids I think nowadays don't really grow up um, learning how to deal with plants and herbs and food that actually comes from the ground. I heard one kid say, ew, I don't want to eat that. That comes from the ground. Like, where do you think it comes from? You go to the grocery store, it comes from the ground. So,
Yeah. Some
so
people
yeah.
believe that their food comes from the grocery store, and that's the funniest thing in the world. But yeah.
So, how did like you said you mentioned that your father was very sick, and that's
Mhm.
what got you into herbalism and kind of made it a lifestyle for you. What do you say for other people who are looking to get into that? Um, how can they get that into their daily living?
Yeah, so it's really just like anything else as far as something that you don't know. Like if you want to um, learn how to meditate more, like you practice it. If you want to um, eat more healthy, like you research and you practice it every day. So to get uh, I've been practicing and studying for probably about 15 years now. Um, Only because I mean it just seemed like a vibe for me as a lifestyle. So um, I go to conferences. I'll travel. I'll drive. I'll fly. That's one of the most like concentrated forms of learning, I guess you could say, where you can network and things like that. But like my bookshelf has a lot of answers and a lot of formulas, and a lot of things that I can practice um, on my with myself. Like I was just telling you that last night I was up late last night, my first time making herbal capsules. Like we spent a lot of money in the health and not excuse me in the supplement industry. Like if you go to the health food store, you'll buy whatever herb you want in powder form in a capsule. Well, somebody had to think to put that together, right?
Yeah.
So and that formula, you had to be formulated. So it's something that you can evolve to. But I mean, as far as a beginner, goes, we were talking about gardening. You know,
Yeah.
you start with your own garden. You make mistakes. You kill a few plants. You know, it's gonna happen, but you learn along the way. You know, I've had a lot of
Yeah, I've definitely killed my number of
yeah.
plants. I always go for the seedlings.
Yeah,
Um, and I always forget how difficult it is to keep your seedlings growing. And
they're
if you
baby.
don't have the right soil, which I do
Mhm.
not, around my house, they
Yeah.
die really quickly. And you have all the animals, because I live by a park. So all the
Mhm.
animals eat your seedlings.
Yep. Yep.
So,
All of that is part of the journey. It's just you just learn, you know? Like yeah, I had potatoes a couple of years ago, and like one day I came outside and the potatoes were like all over the yard because the raccoons had gotten into them. So, you know, you just learn.
it's free food for them, isn't it? They need to make their own grocery store. But yeah, I just
They're a little opposable thumb.
yeah, exactly. So where do you see the community thriving off of learning about gardening and herbalism and putting that into their life?
Where do I see the community thriving? So it's like when you take control of your health, I mean, that's like, you know, growing good soil in a garden. I mean, you know, the soil is everything. I often feel like a nerd when I talk about when I relate the body to a plant, because they're so similar. So if you have a plant, for example, that gets disease, that gets bugs, it gets plant diseases, it's because the soil is bad. It's the soil needs more, you know,
Yeah.
and it's the same with the body. The plant will tell you what it needs. You just have to know the signs. And specifically, if you have a plant that keeps getting bugs, it's because your soil is trash. So it's not about the topicals. It's not about the spray on weed killers and all of that stuff. It's about what you're putting in the soil. So if you relate the soil to, you know, your body and what you're putting in it, I mean, from a community standpoint, it's everything. It's everything. Because if you feel terrible, then you're not going to want to do anything. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's all about empowerment for me. As far as that goes, I mean, you know, I also work with a local farmers market, and my past jobs have been with teaching people how to garden and grow their own food. Specifically love working with teenagers doing that. So um you know, in schools we're not learning this stuff. It's the same kind of thing as, like, you know, if you wanted to strengthen your knowledge and your health as far as your money management goes, I mean, you're gonna buy money books, you're gonna put a couple coins in the bank and figure it out, you know. So it's just another form of currency. It's really valuable currency that we bodies. It doesn't mean that we should take them for granted. So
Exactly. And putting those good nutrients in your body really does help. I've been working with that for about 3 years, and it's been on and off. It's been a struggle, making it a total lifestyle.
Mhm,
I work with my teas, um, and I mix my teas, and I buy my teas from Mountain Herb Rose,
mhm,
and they have so
mhm,
many recipes and things, um, just for beginners to learn how to do things.
mhm,
I found, just looking online, you can find so many courses
mhm,
just to get a feel of if that's something you want to do and if that's a way you want to go. Just like anything, like you said, you have to study. Like
mhm,
it's a lifestyle. It's not a trend. And I think a lot of people think it's a trend, and it's really not, because you want to look to optimize your health. You want to make sure that you're healthy and you live long and you're fueling your body with things that are gonna do good for you for the long time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely a journey here.
to add to
I love my meat, so
there's nothing wrong with meat. There's nothing wrong with it. But well, to add to that, what you made me think of was like on the education piece. There is a lot of education out there. You do have to look for reputable sources. Mountain Roads Herbs is a good website. They have a blog. It's, I mean, it can get a little advanced and a little intense. I mean, but you gotta find something that vibes with you. Because I mean, for example, one of the conferences that I was invited to. So I wouldn't have gone to that conference had I not been invited with a local vendor that I've been friends with for a long time. She definitely is an herbalist. Um, but so we drove there, and it was very white. It was very white, and I mean I'm okay with that. Like I went to private schools, whatever. I'm that I speak the language, but um since that time, I've been looking for something that had a lot more diversity and not even culture, but ritual involved with the
yeah,
herbs, because that's what we have been like. Western herbalism has sort of stripped from learning herbs is the ritual that goes behind it and the intention that comes with working with the plants. So um, that is what I've been working on finding, and maybe it's something that I need to create at some point. But I mean, to find a practitioner who works with intention and is in that space is it's always good. I mean, I've and there have been spots, there have been like a few times in my experiences where I felt like those things happened in my education, but it's few and far between. So you have to know, you really should learn from somebody that you vibe with. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it's a thing. Like I do a lot of reading of on the herbs and everything, and like everything has an intention and has a vibration. So that's what I believe, and working with that vibration to help. That's my belief. You have to work with those things, and so for it to work for you,
Yeah.
you have to give to it as long as it's giving to you. So, well, this was very educational, and I thank you for taking time out. Um, I'm hoping that we can see and hear about what's going on in your next step for this lifestyle. And if you're going to push something out, I think you should. You
Yeah,
are so knowledgeable in herbalism and growing foods. So yeah, definitely think about that.
yeah, it's I know it's past due, it's overdue. So practicing for myself is one thing, but practicing to help other people is a whole nother deal. So I'm ready for that. It's coming.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and I will definitely put down in the description her information if you have any questions for her or you want to know anything about education or books or anything. I will leave that down in the description. Thank you for joining me. Thanks.